Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry Ramage, managing broker at RE/MAX Elite, and Heather Holiday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. Good morning and happy Monday.
I'm ready.
Per the norm. Do I have to make that intro longer? It feels like it's forever long.
I know it does. It does. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Happy freezing Monday morning to everybody. If you're listening in, please tell us in the chat where you're listening from and
what the temperature is. So
what the temperature is.
So what's your cold? What's the Florida cold?
So my computer says it's 45 degrees. We're supposed to go up to the high 60s today. How about you?
I think that we're supposed to get like this warm spell. Yesterday the high was like 50 or something. It was so nice.
Oh, so I'm sure it was beautiful.
Oh, so the high is going to be 50 at 3 p.m. today.
Wow. Okay.
So it was 24 when I woke up.
Oh my goodness.
But it's sunny, so it's gorgeous. Yesterday was gorgeous. We went out, and it was pretty cool because there hasn't been we haven't really got any snow, but as you go up high on that Cherahalla Skyway on the North Carolina or on the Tennessee side, which is where I am, and I love the Bald River Falls, and usually we'll take the Jeep, and there's tons of trails that we can go explore. We had the loaner charger, so we did not do that this time. As much as Leo would have loved to have done that. It's like, no, that's not happening.
That's funny.
Let's see what this charger can do. No, we're not going.
So Melissa Bailey's watching. She says it's 36 currently in Atlanta.
It's cold. Well, in Florida, it's always colder. It's that you guys have that.
It's wet.
Cold. Yes, It goes like right through you, whereas ours, we don't have all that. I mean, it still says it's humid, but it's not
like this. Yeah. So Darlene sent me this morning. I don't know if you could see it. That's the grass on her front yard, which is all covered in frost. And she texted me and says, "Do we get a snow day today?" Nope.
Nice try. And this is one of we haven't done like a checklist or marketing, I don't think. 22 in Cincinnati. Okay. Oh no.
Oh, Donna. Horrible.
Oh, I love the
but congratulations. Congratulations if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan. They pulled it out in the last, I don't even know how many minutes of the game yesterday. So they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl along with
I love the underdog.
Yeah.
Absolutely always. I mean, I don't watch day. I've seen that. What is that for? Is that for?
Well, you're thinking about Who Dat, which is for the Saints.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
I don't know. It's my life is so less stressful now that I don't watch football, because my life used to truly evolve around when everybody, when the Gators were playing on Saturday, and then when the Bears and the Bills, because that's who I watched in college, what they were doing, and that's I delivered pizza, so that was my schedule. What's gonna happen? And Leo doesn't watch football, and we started doing all the poker runs and the motorcycle stuff, and that was so less stressful, and it was the first time I ever actually grew nails. And Sunday was all about NASCAR too. So I mean, that was my whole life. My mom used to make fun of me, because I'd be in the room screaming at the TV, and she's like, how could you eat, it's NASCAR, they're just going in circles, it's as much fun as watching paint dry. How can you get that worked up over anything?
Right.
I don't understand.
Right. Whatever makes you happy, I say.
Right. So
But anyway, we're doing a checklist today, this is right in your wheelhouse.
Well, and I'm like the organizer. So what I do is I actually have this checklist is inside of, you could use it in Asana, you could use it in any, I mean, even we use app files. So anywhere that you have like a task management, you could do this for each listing, as simple as I use Google Drive. So I just kind of have it in Excel. I have like a tab for any listing, and then it just has basically this as my checklist, so I could write the dates or anything like that. And that was when I used to do a lot of social media for agents. And this was basically they each had their own file so they could look at it anytime. They could report it to the sellers, whatever. It was kind of like my guide to what I need to do, but it also helped them so they could share it. Now it's definitely hard because listings. What is going on, Kerry? You are making like these crazy faces.
I know. I screwed up my computer because I was. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Your face was like, I don't know what was going on.
I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I just clicked the wrong link. I'm trying to. Yeah.
Well, don't go away. Don't go clicking.
I'm not clicking me away. I've started just for those of you who do any type of lives or whatever. I've started like putting our checklist on of what we're talking about on a small screen on my screen, so I'm looking forward and I can talk that way, as opposed to looking over here at my other screen, which it's been in the past. But then I lost the screen that I was trying to look at, which is what happened.
Oh, I always look. Yeah, I always have it behind.
I know.
Still looking at the count. Yes.
That's what I was trying to do, and I wasn't very good at it.
So. Then I can't see us, but I happen to see your face as I'm just talking away before going to that. So for me, I just use Google Drive, have, each listing so I know what I've done for each one. But it is hard because now it's so difficult because they go under contract so fast. So a lot of the tools that I had used, the AdWorks, the Megaphone and stuff, sometimes the listing is already under contract before it actually gets fed over.
Correct.
To do anything on these other platforms. I do love, and I think you use like Photify.
Me a little bit, yes. Well, I use it more for the closings than I do for the actual listing. Okay. I forget to use it for the listing, which is why we need a checklist, right?
For me, it's it's just so I make sure everything gets done. I mean, if there's not a professional video, I'll just use the photos unless I can get, someone to actually do. I mean, it's so easy to use a gimbal and just go through. And for me, it's like the checklist may seem a little overwhelming, but honestly, the more you do it, the easier it's going to be. Just like anything in your business, the more you do it, the faster you'll be able to do all of this, and it'll become second nature, and you'll be able to get through it in 15 minutes.
Right.
But it's just a matter of being consistent about it.
Yep.
With your checklist, or if you have somebody else that does that. So let's see here. So when you get a listing, we need a flyer for the house, or if you're going to do an open house or anything like that.
Well, and it's funny. I use the flyer now even a little bit just in the online marketing. So not even just like, we're not putting the flyer box on the sign anymore, or most people aren't. But perfect for open houses, or to hand out around your office, or sometimes those are even good to post because it has a lot of information. So the flyers are looking different than they used to look in the old days, kind of thing.
Oh, because a lot of people would just use the MLS sheet.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, I think sometimes we forget to think like a consumer. We think so much like an agent. And I think the MLS data is great to have like at the house and the display, maybe in a book that has all the other things, maybe the colors, the, taxes, anything else that you could find of importance, in like a book that just stays at the house for the records. But, that MLS sheet has so much information, and it's, it's very text. I'm a visual.
Right. It's very text driven, and you really just want to grab them with your visual, with your pictures, with a couple of, little bullet points, 3 with the bed, 2 with the sink showing the bathroom,
I'm just a visual, so I want to grab them that way. The flyer, Megaphone has a ton of different things. There's so many different places you could save anything as a photo to use for graphics, to use as an email blast, all of that fun stuff. I like to use Canva because I want to have like my own branding, my own template. And I do love that. Probably the most about Canva is you can have a template so the branding's consistent no matter what you're doing, whether it be a listing, just a regular real estate tip or do it yourself or anything like that. I like Canva because I can keep everything consistent with branding. And you just set up a template, you just drag and drop photos, change the address, change the text or whatnot. And Canva's free. I use the Pro, but it's worth $115 a year. Just because everything I do is in there, and it just makes, I have a story layout for new listings, all of that. So that's just different ways that you can get like the flyer. Do you do postcards?
I still do postcards. I think
they're important, especially on anything, just because there's so little that we can do for, it's not like the listings are staying out there for, a couple months where you have all these different avenues that you can be promoting.
Well, and to me, the listing postcard is not because you're going to get a buyer from it. It's to let, especially if it's in one of your neighborhoods in your farm, it's to let all of the neighbors know that you're the listing agent in that neighborhood. You're doing that postcard so that you're getting
visibility for other potential sellers. It's, also another reason why I like that mega open house where you invite all the neighbors first. To do a preview. I mean, I don't know how, it's just crazy how everything has changed in just the last couple of years. But I feel the same way. It's such a minimal, I think like a lot of agents use Quantum because the address is already there and you don't have to worry about trying to go to the tax records, downloading, label, blah, blah, blah. Like Quantum's like, here's my design, here you go, blah.
Yeah. Well, and even through Megaphone, if you do it through Megaphone, you can go right. It'll send it right to Express Copy, and you can do it that
Express Copy is the other one, and same thing. So, and they have some great, cute designs that are pretty much already done. You just pick the listing, and all the information and photos kind of populate. Am I correct on that? It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm also big on enhancing on like Realtor.com and Zillow, and whether you have a love-hate relationship with them, that, you have to do stuff where the consumers are. And that's where the consumers are. For me, thinking like a consumer versus an agent, my number one pet peeve is trying to get the listing in so fast because you're excited or the sellers really want it out there and you don't even have photos yet. That's my number one pet peeve because we have a search because we're still looking for our, we moved up here and just grabbed whatever we could. So we have a certain area that now that we've been up here, and I can tell you my number one pet peeve is when I get that alert from wherever it is and there's not even a freaking photo. That is your announcement to the entire world that you have this listing that matches my criteria and you don't even have a photo. It's just a picture of a generic stock house.
Right. Well, yes, that's, and it's funny. I have an investor seller of mine, and he's always like, well, the house will be ready Friday, so order the sign up. I'm like, Philip, the sign is the least important thing. The pictures are the most important thing. Tell me when I can have the photographer out there, because that's the most important thing. So let me know when I can have the photographer out there, then I'll order the sign up. But you're right. You are showing the world how you market. So get those.
Well, and that, it's like, yay, this property met my criteria, but there's no information. It's just the bare basics that gets pulled over from the tax records. Well, what do you think happens? I have nothing to look at. I can't favorite it. There's nothing. So guess what happens? Nothing happens.
Exactly.
I don't save it because I can't even see it. And it's not like I'm going to put it on my calendar to go check in a couple of days to see if the person actually added photos.
Right.
What am I supposed to do? And now I'm not going to get an alert again until you've done a price reduction.
Right.
So it's like probably one of my number one pet peeves, or knowing you have a professional photographer, but you just took a couple pictures with your cell phone and you're a horrible picture taker. And that's what you're announcing it to the world. And I know so many agents do that. It's my number one pet peeve.
Yep.
because that is your announcement to everybody.
And here's the thing I was thinking the other day too, when you're getting your photos and if you're having your photographer do video, or if you're grabbing your gimbal and you're doing video, our photographer that I use does the Zillow 3D walkthrough.
Yes, that's on my list.
But what this house that I'm selling right now, the backyard backs up to preserve area. So I made sure I got aerials so people could see that. But you don't need to do aerials on a house that there's nothing exciting to see back there, or if it needs a new roof. Right. Aerial, not something you should be doing. So think of those things as well. Like what's going to show your house in the best light. Granted, if it needs a new roof, it needs a new roof, but you don't need to highlight it in your photos.
Right. So like the realtor.com, it didn't used to pull over. If you had a professional video done, you would have to manually upload that. Zillow, to make sure you have everything filled out. It doesn't always pull over all the information from the MLS or, anything. So make sure all those spaces are filled out. Make sure to do that video walkthrough that they have using the app. They have the 3D tour. They have so many different things. And you know what? It's going to push that listing as if you're paying hundreds of dollars to enhance that listing if you're using those tools. They're free. And really, whether your professional photographer does it, and a lot of them do now for a little extra charge, completely worth it. But also, it's super easy if you're doing it.
Yeah.
I used to do it with the agents because it was, I just had my little gimbal thingy and just followed the steps. It literally was so easy. It walked you through how to do everything. And I was clueless, had never done it before.
Right.
But make sure to do that. And, if you have a website, if you do have a video, put it up on your YouTube. What I do is, I'll have it in the listing playlist. And once it sells, I'll put it under a sold. So that way I still stay in compliance. I'm just putting that it's sold. So it stays in there and hopefully that's compliant. Even if I don't have like a professional video, I'll use something like Animoto. You could even use Canva to create a video. For me, it's all about like the SEO and, to make it searchable when somebody Googles that address, because YouTube's, owned by Google, all that fun stuff. So it's just trying to make it visible where my, information's attached to whatever it is. And people love videos. I don't think a slideshow is a video, but
a slideshow is
anything else.
And look, like Melissa says, it's tough because listings that are around 200,000 are gone in 24 hours. Yeah, it is. However, like the way we look at it is, but those pictures and that presentation is always out there for the world to see. But yeah, I've had a couple too recently where you just didn't get the professional photos done. But I think for the most part, we're all better photographers than we were 5 years ago because we've seen professional photos now and we know how to do a better job of it.
Well, I remember back in the day, we used the disposable things and we only were allowed 7 photos. So we would have to pretty much waste that disposable camera getting the hour processing. And you had to write down the address and the MLS number and take it to the board because they had to be the ones to put the photos and attach it to the MLS.
Yes, Barbara, our phones are fancier than they were back in the old days. Like, I remember taking pictures from a flip phone. Like, what the heck?
I remember when we got the, it was the huge camera that you could put the A floppy in.
Oh yeah, that was like the first digital cameras came out.
And we had one and basically, so the agents would kind of like sign out to go do that. And then we had to have a nice printer to be able to print it. It's just crazy.
That started when I was in the shoe business. So we would be selling shoes. And then if your customer couldn't come to the shoe show, you would take digital pictures and email them to them. Like, I remember when we first got those. Wow.
And I thought I was super fancy because I could create from a search on a listing. I would be able to put everything on a floppy and send like a relocation package with the A drive. And it had instructions on how to run the slideshow of these listings. And that was like pimping out what we could do. And it was like such a huge, awesome thing. I mean, it was so crazy. Like, go to type in A semicolon run / or whatever. It was just hilarious.
So,
Woo! Gosh, you guys don't know either.
and then we're with AdWorks. That's also a benefit of Remax. So, make sure you've got your layout updated, your photos. You update your URL.
I like to edit the destination URL because I want it to go to the property on my website. So that way any leads, they completely, and it's helping drive traffic to your website. So every single thing that you're posting, put on there like a call to action, like to see all the photos, video, and information, click here. And sometimes it's going to be like a ridiculously long URL. So use Bitly, use the Remax URL shortener, whatever it is. Go and put that long URL, shorten it. I like to put in like the MLS number because when you use those URL shorteners, it is case sensitive. So if someone, if you put in the street name, someone may put in a capital, or you may when you're putting it in there, and then it's going to go to a 404 error page. So for me, it's easier. I put in just the MLS number for us, what that's like 7 characters. And plus it helps me, if you decide to use Photo5 for the sold or to do anything on the go, say you're at an open house or at an inspection and you want to be able to promote it, it's going to be easy for you to know what that MLS number is. And you'll know it's like, rem.ax/51251, whatever. So for me, it's just easier to remember. But with anything you're doing, put that call to action, even the video or slideshow on YouTube, get the full details here and put that link there.
And I will say, I feel like I'm becoming an old lady. So, what I think everybody needs to do is get used to using your phone more. And a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'll do it when I'm in front of my computer. I'll do it when I'm in front of my computer. But for Instagram stories or Reels or TikTok or social, you could be sitting at an inspection or at a showing where you're just, an agent, a company, or in my case, sitting at the doctor's office waiting for my mother.
A lot of mine was done sitting in the carpool line.
Yeah.
Picking up the kids. I like to get there nice and early to be one of the first, but that's when I would do all of my stuff and just schedule it. I use Hootsuite. There's an app for that. Do whatever and schedule it there. I got so much done in that hour time. It was crazy.
Yeah. So get more comfortable with your cell phones because the younger kids, they're super comfortable with their cell phones.
If it means you have to go out and grab readers like I did, then go out and do it. Or even your iPad. So if you are like in the carpool line like me, or we were so busy as parents, your kids are in all these activities, so it's like football practice, cheer practice, baseball, whatever it was, that's what I was doing.
Exactly.
Watching the kids, but really it's like you're having to be somewhere, just finding that little bit of time that you can be doing this stuff.
Right. Easy. So, and we're because of the way the market is right now, we're having to react like this. We're having to work like this. So, do it, be ready to do it. When a listing goes live, you did your photos, it's going live, do your social posts, get it out there. And like you say, schedule it too, even because you don't want to be on I don't want to be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever I use, and post it all at the same time. Spread them out so that, because usually your same audience is checking all those places, and so you want to spread those.
And the same thing if you do end up sharing it from your business over to your personal, just do it, if you're posting to your business in the morning, do it later at night where you're sharing to your personal, and that way, otherwise it'll stack it.
Yep.
And you'll probably be getting a different audience. I do love on Instagram and Facebook, you can see your insights to know when all of your followers or whatnot are actually on that platform, to know the best time and day to grab the most eyeballs. I do love Megaphone. Like if you're going to run ads, I like that in Megaphone. I can just say, you know what, every time I get a new listing, run a $20 ad. It's very hands off. I don't have to think about it. It's just happening like
I have it set up to do that.
I mean, for me, it's like a listing, it's going to be sold in a couple hours or maybe a day or so. but I still want those eyeballs. I want, it's not necessarily to get a buyer. It's to get that
It's
visibility.
to get that visibility, to get more listings, really, I think.
Yeah.
It's so that your network is seeing that you're always listing properties. And it's funny, I don't think I do that much business posting. And a lot of people say, you should do on your personal page 70% personal, 30% business. So I try not to do too much. And I don't know if that's the right stat, but I think I've heard that somewhere. So you'll correct me if I'm wrong. But so I don't think I do that much, but it's funny. I saw a friend a couple weeks ago, and the friend was like, "Oh my gosh, you're on fire! You're listing so many properties," and I'm like, "Am I?" Like I was like, "Oh, I don't feel like I am," but apparently they were seeing it, which is good. That's the whole point. The whole point is that.
I find that it's other agents that are the ones stalking the other agents.
Oh well, there's that too.
And
yeah,
then
this
I
was
remember
a friend.
when I was doing social media management, and it definitely got burnt out, but I would have a client and they'd be like, no, you have to post like 4 times a day about all the listings. And I'm like, that's not me. Like, no, that's not me. And it's like, cause that's what they think this person gets all the business because they're posting 4 times a day of all the listings and they're not posting anything engaging, nothing. I don't know. And it just kind of, I don't know.
Right. So
social media is about the social, not necessarily the media. And that's not why they're getting business. It's probably because they're hustling, they're prospecting, they're doing a lot of other stuff. It's not because they're posting that they just got a new listing 4 times a day.
Correct. So when we talk about doing the sold checklist, I personally always try to be a little bit careful of have it being too much. Look at me, I sold a house, I sold a house, I sold a house. And more about the job you did, And it's funny, I was on a Lee Brown webinar last week, and she was saying, we as a business need to stop saying, oh, multiple offers under contract in 24 hours, as if we did nothing. So much goes into that on the front end, helping the seller prepare, giving them the suggestions of what they need to fix or change, and hopefully they're following those suggestions, doing the professional photographs, making sure the property is staged correctly. There's so much that goes in on the front end that we're not sharing with people.
And then you're just basically saying, look, being a realtor is like the easiest thing ever. I just got something under contract with multiple offers, and I don't like to do that either. And I know Jared James really big on that. Yeah. Like you're basically saying I don't have to do anything, and I'm making millions of dollars.
And it's not true.
Perception that you're giving.
Yeah, that's the perception you're giving, and it's not the case. So make sure you're highlighting what you're doing for people.
Right. I really like it when there is maybe a family or something, and you're at closing. If it's okay with them, I love Sheldon Neal. He would photobomb the closing picture, and he ended up blowing up from that. He always had like a sold writer somewhere, and it was almost like a Where's Waldo, and every time he had a picture, you're just looking for him, like where is he? And that was like his thing. And I think you need to find your thing, like what makes you unique. Make these fun and engaging, and anytime that you can have a photo with you or with people, it's going to have a much larger audience than just sold in a picture of a house.
Right.
I mean, that's as basic as you can get. It's what I would end up having to do, but it's not what's creating that relationship or those, that engagement. It's going to be anything that will be more personal.
Exactly. And make sure you've got the sending the request for a review on your checklist. Some people are doing it the day before closing or a couple of days before closing. I've started doing it actually a week after closing, giving them their time to unpack, get settled. The internet might not be set up or whatever. So that's what I've been doing. And been using this great product, Rate My Agent, which will then auto post the reviews. So hopefully you're getting good reviews.
Listings or something too. I saw.
I think they do too. I don't know. I get alerts that they're doing something on my behalf, and I'm like, oh, did I set that up? Wow.
And now, your Boosh websites actually, if you are using Rate My Agent, I believe that is one of them that will auto feed like Zillow, or you can do your manual reviews. I believe they just added that feed. So
I think so too. And I've gotten away from doing reviews at Zillow, and you can actually, if you go through on Rate My Agent, you can actually import your Zillow reviews. You have to do them one by one because you have to attach them to a property, but you can import those reviews too. So if you're sitting in a car loop or somewhere and you have some time, that's kind of what
or if you have a teenager.
Yeah, have your teenager do it. Exactly.
I mean, those are perfect things to have a teenager who just wants to make a little extra money doing, I mean, it's probably very redundant. It's super easy. It's just time consuming. And that's where we have to learn how to delegate.
Well, and honestly, that's where I've used Photofy is on the sold, because I won't always do every time I sell a house, because again, it gets too much like, look at me, look at me. So if I have a couple of closings in the same week, I'll do a Photofy with the pictures of all those houses and do that way. I'm doing one post.
And if you do have a website that does pull in the sold data, make sure that you have a page with all of your solds and that you could have a link. And a lot of times I'll just use like the link tree, and I have one of the links is, for the sold data. So you can have that call to action on a sold property, to get for more information or see what your house is worth, click here, or, check the link in my bio and you have a sold link or whatnot in there. So it is nice when you have a website that does pull that in so that you can have that call to action on those sold. Make sure to post those reviews. I think that's important. It gives you something else that's business related to your social and all of that.
Exactly. There's something else I was going to say, but now I can't remember what it was. So,
and I would definitely, any of those solds, like on Instagram, you have all these highlights. So you could, even if you don't want to create, something that's dedicated to the story size or reels or TikTok, you can't easily share any of your posts to your story. And then like if it's a review, make sure to put that in your highlighted reviews little bubble. So that way it doesn't go away in 24 hours. It basically becomes like a photo album.
Right. Yeah. I need to think that's something I need to work on. You told me that a couple of weeks ago and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta set time aside to work on that.
And that's super easy, and I like Canva has the little cover, the highlight cover, so you can make them, to your branding or whatnot. Super easy. So if you look at like Monday morning wake up call, like they're all consistent.
Right. I know. I see. And I'm like, oh, I guess I have to do that.
But it is super easy. And of course, if you have any questions on that, I'm slightly addicted because not so much on the reels and TikToks and Snapchat and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm still blown away at the amount of views and likes that my first and only reel has received. And really, it was just a video of Leo leaving, in snow on a side-by-side. But I mean, like 300. Like if I'd have just posted it, it wouldn't have got, I would have got a, 30.
I'll just say it's amazing what people are watching. And I'm always floored, this is completely off topic, that people still have huge Mondo TVs in their house because so many people are just looking at stuff on this thing.
Well, I like my TV and I never even have my sound on my phone.
Yeah, I don't either.
I didn't sleep very well Thursday because apparently Hunter has potatoes in his ears and didn't have school or work Friday. So he decided to stay up all night watching YouTube on his dang phone. But
he was watching it on his phone. He wasn't watching on a TV.
He even has like a 40-something. Yeah. He has a huge TV. He'll use it as a computer monitor screen before he'll use it as a TV.
Yeah.
It's because they are just.
That's what my kids use their TV as their computer monitor screen. So
it's kind of crazy. I like my TVs. I'm on my phone all day long, and I'm old, so
I know. I'm with you.
Not the same.
I'm with you.
So what else do we have? I think we covered everything.
I think we did too.
Flyers, postcards, enhancements on wherever, it's going to be displayed, your realtor.com, Zillows, all of that. Maybe videos, do a blog post if you're able to, AdWorks. Social, maybe do a carousel or a photo, like a mini photo album. It can be branded to you. Always call to action as far as taking them to the website, your website, the property on your website to make, that's going to help.
Right.
And it allows them to see all the photos. If you have an actual like virtual tour or something, and it has all the information on the property, and it's a way to drive people to your website. Huge.
Right.
There's so many different ways if it doesn't sell in 2 hours, because you could just, I do multiple different ways, whether it be the announcement post. You could do a carousel that'll actually pull in all the different photos, and you could change the name, and that, you see those for ads all the time. You can do that as a post using the Facebook Creator Studio. Maybe you have a collage photo, the flyer, the video. So I just like to do the posts at different times, different weeks. So every week that it would, now that it's kind of irrelevant, but I, would do it in a different way, because you will grab somebody may watch the video that didn't care about the flyer. Everything has that call to action. You're really just kind of saying the same thing in different ways. Maybe, promoting, if there's a horse barn, you're going to basically be attracting those people that like the equestrian stuff, or, the kitchen, it's going to appeal to someone else. So there's so many different ways that you can grab the eyeballs of other people. And then the sold, same thing, posting that to social. If you have Photofy, you could do it that way. Call to action if you have solds on your property. Reviews, make sure to send that email for reviews, or have that third party that'll automatically do that. Post that on social, and make sure that you have your highlights and you're using that to showcase properties, reviews, solds, all that fun stuff. What'd I miss?
I think that's it. I think you got it all.
That was a lot.
So for the weekly activity, find sites or articles that make you smile and laugh, and pass those along to people by sharing on your social or in emails or via your phone. It's a lamplighter in a tough world and a conversation starter for you. It's funny. So I have this sort of joke about the car loop at Suntree Elementary and how early it starts. And I have a couple friends who I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 12:48 and the car loop has started, and school gets out at 2:30. 12:48. And there was an agent who was a buyer on one of my listings recently, and we were laughing about it at the final walkthrough. And now I've included him on that texting. And when I did it the other day, he goes, oh God, I needed a good laugh today. Thanks for sending me that. But find good articles that make you laugh and smile. Not sometimes I always just tend towards more the businessy part, but go for stuff that brightens people's day.
No, because everybody loves laughters and a good joke and just something that kind of lightens the mood. And I think that's why I do a lot of like dog posts, because I don't have a baby. So, I just, sometimes we just need more dogs in our life. And if you're scared of big dogs, you probably won't be following me. But I'm just saying, those are just, for me, it's just less of the noise of everything else going on.
Right.
My words of wisdom, motivation for the week is, why are you trying to fit in when you were born to stand out? So I want you to think creatively, and what makes, what kind of sets you aside, and think of something that you can be doing that becomes your thing, and just go with it and stop trying to be the norm.
Exactly. Ooh, look at this crazy hair.
And of course, if you, on our MondayMorningWakeUpCall.com website, there is a blog post that actually has this checklist. So you can copy paste, put it in whatever task manager you have, or just Google Drive.
I have it all just in my app files, so it's part of my checklist.
Right. So it's like app files. Not everybody uses app files. That's kind of like a Florida thing. But definitely any task manager you have, for if you have an assistant that does this kind of thing, share it. And, what are they doing? There's always, in this list I had done, it was quite a long time ago, but it's super relevant. It gives you lots of ideas, things that maybe you could add on if you haven't been doing it. But there is a full checklist on the blog, on our website. And I think that's it.
I think that does it for today.
I think that's it. Let's see what we got going on. Yes. And I think that's it. So until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat.
Bye everyone.